I've noticed.
By all means, let me know. Yeah, I think. Let me know if you want your sound up at all or down. I think you're good on the recording level.
Check. Hey,
I said that before I even heard you say anything. I was like, yeah, you're good.
I've already set this, so touch nothing.
You sound good.
It's perfect.
That's nice.
Hell yeah.
Do you like these mic stands? These are pretty nice, right?
I like this, yeah.
I got these recently. I before then had like little ones where leaning over, your back's hurting. Mm-hmm. So get comfy, do what you got to do. You got the nice mug, and we'll get right into it. I'll add an intro and all that shit after. How you doing, man?
I am wonderful. How are you, sir?
Quincy Johnson the third. So we have to call you the second.
Get it right.
I'm telling you something. Do you have kids, but they don't.
Yeah, but he's not named after me.
No, you're saving that title.
I'm saving that until I get married.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If are you with somebody?
No, not right now. I'm aggressively single. That's what I call myself.
Do you?
You're so single. Right
I mean, are you? But like, are you looking, or are you just?
I mean,
kind of
you're
like,
always looking, but I didn't move to LA to fall in love. So that's not. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say, but it's the reality of the situation. I didn't move 1,800 miles from home in safety and security to say I'm going to meet my soulmate.
Just if to get that good Instagram photo.
Yeah, but like right now, my focus is my career. So as long as if you interfere with that in any way, hey, guess what? I got my career is more important.
See, that's where I'm not. Okay. But I at least found the girl that. It's not that it's not. I'm in the boat now where it's not one or the other, like my career or her. It's how do we make it all mesh?
Okay.
But she's got, she travels for work and gets to do fun things. Like she's going to Mexico,
yeah, man,
with like some like job. And I'm by the way, 2 years ago I would have been like, what about me? Now I'm like, peace out, delivery. I'm hanging out.
Hey, babe, go kill it. Let me know if you need anything because I'm here to support you. I'm not going to be your lackey. Like with my ex, she wanted me to be her groupie.
Oh,
it was like
Instagram boyfriend type of thing.
Even
groupie?
like to the point of she wanted me to cheer because she got an audition, and I'm like, no, that's just you got an email that says come in at 1:30 at 1:30 between 1:30 and 3. Like it's not. Oh my God, you're killing it because
was she really needy? That hurt you. You were like, ugh.
But it wasn't like a needy where I'm like trying to be disparaging toward her. She's a wonderful woman. It's just that idea that if I'm out here trying to do the exact same thing you are, but you need me to be extra overly supportive of everything you do for validation. Tell me this picture looks good. Be happy about this. Be sad about that. Like, no, man, we got better things to do. If I came home crying after every bomb set I do in comedy, do you know how messed up of a human being I would be?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I've had to really learn to not necessarily lean on anyone else for the day-to-day.
Yeah.
You have to decide what's important. What's worth... Because we get in this rut, like, every day you could complain about the commute. Mm-hmm. And it's still okay. It's fucking tough out there today. But it's like, what's going to be worth me needing that moment? Like, this thing fucked me up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things fuck you up that's perceivably not a big deal. But it's like today, and this didn't fuck me up, but they announced who got the finalists for the Kevin and Bean radio thing. Mm-hmm. I submitted a video last second. I wouldn't have gotten picked anyway. I don't have that sort of killer tape. I'm just the white dude. It's not happening. And some white dudes did get on the thing.
Dude, but it's not even about killer tape. It's comedy is so subjective at this point. Just throw your hat in the ring and then keep it pushing.
Yeah.
It's if you get it, hey, I got it. Congrats, man. Good stuff. If you didn't get it, guess what? Submit to the next thing.
It's like you're not winning American Idol. It's not. Yeah, it's the best industry for not needing to win those things. It's still annoying when I once in a while put myself out there and submit to a festival, and then they reject me and they go, "Dear name, comma we," and that's like that was the laughing skull. Dear name. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's their idea of, hey, we're all comedians doing this. So this is the way we can try to be wacky in your rejection. And again, I don't really give a fuck about other people's feelings because I'm only worried about my own career. Yeah. When you see the lineup of comedians selected, I go, there's no way. I know my tape is better than It's hard not to look. It's hard not to look at the comics that are selected for these things and go, there's just one dude. and he did that Broke Festival or whatever it's called. It's called like Broke LA.
Or Brochella, or whatever it was.
Broke LA, yeah. And I didn't even submit, so I'm not even shitting on it, but I was like, good God, even if this dude paid 100 people to laugh, there's no way his charisma will even come through.
Hey, but again, you're looking at comedy from your lens and then hoping everybody else is on board. Like you say, this guy's funny, this guy's funny. Well, the people who are doing the booking are either failed comedians. Like no big time booker is a good comic.
Right.
Because if you're a good comic, you don't have time to be booking big festivals and shit. Like I don't have all the connections. I'm not a good networker. I run shows because I love stand up, and I was tired of seeing shitty LA stand up all the time. If I have some control in that, well, let me book a show with funny people.
Yeah, everyone needs
to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, having a show is different than making it like your career to book others.
But most bookers are failed entertainers in some aspect. So they have an idea of what they think is funny. The same reason when they were doing stand up, they thought this joke that they wrote was funny. Nobody else got it, but you can't tell a comic his joke's not funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you can not laugh at it or whatever, but
if you told me something's not funny and I think it's funny, I would respect that you don't get it, and I would try to rework it.
Okay, but that's because
sometimes...
Are you talking about if it was me telling you or if it was a stranger telling you?
Right, you're right. If it's a close friend, if it's someone who I respect, that's the difference. Do I respect your humor? And if I do, then I'm like, oh, was my premise not strong? What was I lacking? You know, what was the communication break? Versus someone being like, I don't like that. I'm like, fuck you, lady. Go fuck yourself.
But see, that's the interaction between festival bookers and you as a comedian now, because they are approaching your comedy as if you respect them and you're close friends.
Yeah.
So they're trying to tell you that you're not as funny as this person, but comedically you can put it on paper and go, look, I know I'm funnier than this dude.
And it's kind of like we've created these competitions
or some shit.
Well, we've created these conditions where it's like me versus this other guy, but in the end, it's really just us versus the audience. And even then, you're not competing against the audience. You're just trying to get them to go on this ride
understand your
with
point of view. Yeah.
And by the way, I've seen you murder. I saw you kill so hard at the Ice House that time. It was really interesting. I think I was driving for Uber at the time, so this was a couple years ago, and I was like not far away, so I was like, I'm gonna go actually support stand up for once in my life, because it's like we get so focused on our own shit. I was like, I'm gonna go enjoy a show that I don't have to be a part of. Yeah, dude, you fucking were killing it. Yeah. And since then, man, you're a sharp dude. So. And by the way, this episode will come out the day after the West Side show.
Oh, I'm excited.
So, yeah, I'm excited because I don't have to promote the show. It already happened. How did it go? Was it great? Did we sell out? I hope. What if it was
we're
like
going to sell out. We gave out. I'm talking in the future as if.
Did you see me just murder up front?
Man, you killed it up there. You were throwing
at people.
Sex toys to the people. I crowd surfed.
Turning down blowjobs in the green room.
It was a crazy time.
Not for my girlfriend, tell you that much. Tasha had to work today. Normally she's on it, but it's a different dynamic. I'm by no means shitting on her. It's a different dynamic when I can talk to another comic versus when I'm with her. And, it's just, it's when there's always different people. I already sound like I'm defending myself. No, honey, I'm not saying you were, because we have a great dynamic, but also I like to get down to just a couple dudes talking about their shit. But yeah, the stand-up show, I mean, it's a late night show, so that's my only worry is, are people going to show up? But I mean, yeah, I got some good. I got a vibrating cock ring.
There you go.
I'm handing out some of this like spray you're supposed to spray on your dick so you can last longer.
Man, how far is too far? Like we've gone so far down the rabbit hole in sexual exploration.
So that was given to me actually a couple years ago. It's got this lidocaine in it, and it numbs your dick. I've used it. It doesn't help you really last much longer. If you're gonna come, if a chick's gonna make you come, you're coming. There's no, you know what I mean? Oh, don't come, done.
I only come if I want to.
Yeah. So it's like that moment where you're just like, this isn't gonna look great on my record. But
do we as men, and I understand, ladies, you want to be satisfied, but do we as men have to go so far as to spraying our dicks to please a woman? Right. Is that how far we have to go?
It's not like Viagra where you could pop. I don't really know how Viagra works. I would try it. I haven't, but I would try it. But that's not my
I don't
issues.
Fuck with anything that messes with your heart. I don't.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is so this vibrating cock ring they sent, that kind of like, Tasha, you home? Did the door not open?
I heard.
Hey, are you here?
I heard it knocked.
Right? Oh, maybe, you know what it was?
What?
It was Amazon.
Oh, okay.
They drop off shit all day long.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I was going to do
She'll
that.
literally buy shit things just show up to the door. Anyway, I was like...
What a time to be alive, man.
She was thinking she might make it back, but she had to go to the airport, drop off family, and then go to a job. And I was like, you're not making it back between the airport and here.
Not with rush hour.
Anyway, I was talking about cock rings. Yeah, I never used one before, and it restricts the veins that leave the dick, not the artery that enters the dick. So it keeps letting blood into the dick, but there's no exit door. So you're walking around it's
how you get rigor mortis or some shit.
Right.
Like, you can lose your member.
Well, they make these cock rings that are like solid ones. That's what you don't want, because it's like, bro, it's hard enough. Like, you get a ring stuck on your finger, you're tugging at your finger. You don't need to be tugging at your dick. No.
Yeah, I know a bunch of strippers in the South, male strippers. Live the life. I don't. I know some male strippers. People are judging me. I can feel it in their eyes. But they wrap string around their sack.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same. Yeah. That's probably safer than the cock ring, because you could at least unwrap that.
Yeah.
But I was in San Antonio at a gay club, because we were with a group of people, and it was only 18 plus play. And everyone was 21. This is years ago. And the dudes had like the dude dancers had like fucking hogs. And I was like, oh, they've got like cock rings on or something like that. They're keeping that shit like. Yeah. Because if I'm doing something athletic, my dick's going.
I don't care if it's athletic. If I'm doing anything that requires concentration besides fucking, I'm not going to be able to maintain an erection. I don't have that much multitasking skill.
In college, I did a date auction. So each fraternity and sorority would auction off one person. It sounded good at the time. And then in the audience, you would bid how much you want to spend for them. So like dudes would normally, and then whoever was bidding on you, they would pool their money together. It all goes to charity. And I was going to do this thing like the risky business thing where I slide out in my underwear. But right before, and I took a couple shots because I was nervous. And I was like 18 or 19. I'd never even been on stage, let alone sliding out my underwear. And then right before, and I put I double layered my briefs.
Okay, smart move.
Yeah,
smart move.
But then right before, my dick went as far into my body as possible. I don't know. Is it nerves? Is this like a fight or flight moment where because they say the fight or flight, you evacuate your bowels, right? You got to take a shit before a big show or something.
Yeah.
That's like you're going into the war. So I was like, oh geez, I couldn't imagine a male stripper, so it makes sense that the cock ring business is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those dudes who participate in gangbangs and dudes who are male strippers have to have the fortitude of a superhero, because you have to jerk yourself off in a room full of dudes, get in fully hard, and then you wrap up.
Keep that focus.
And then that's where you can have the hog the whole time you're dancing to Genuine or fucking Flow Rider or whatever.
We had my friend Katie Haller on the podcast. I guess it's actually the one that's coming out today, so you've listened to it already if people are listening.
Appreciate you tuning in,
guys. Thank you. Subscribe, share, review. And she was banging some guy, her booty call, and the dude's friend walked in as they were banging. And I think she was like okay with it, but also like, what the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know a scenario in which I would walk in. Yeah, but then again, when I lived in the fraternity, guys would walk in on other dudes banging all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's in today's world, I mean, in any world, when you break it down, that's sort of not right for the chick side of things.
Yeah, you should have some modicum of privacy as an adult.
Yeah.
But also, if that happens and then you continue down that road, well, you know what to expect, because if you're having a booty call at his place, and his friends are willing to just walk in willy-nilly, well, then you know that's going to happen again, because we don't change. We're in our 30s. We don't change.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm so used to walking into my friend's room, I'm going to just do it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, bro? Oh, you fucking? All right, I'll come back.
I had my roommate in college was banging his chick. Her father was the minister at my church, so she was the minister's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk in, and they had the bunk bed, so they were higher up. No, but not that high up. And he was banging her. His feet were to me, and he was banging her reverse cowgirl. Is that what it is? So she was looking at me, but he didn't know I walked in. And I just did that, like, open up the door, like that comical sitcom moment, like, what? Pause. Close door, leave. Still trying to, okay, shouldn't be here. Bye. And I guess when you have, I don't know, in college it's one thing, but we've had, I mean, Tasha would, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but also in this day and age, if you have somebody coming over, send a courtesy message to your roommate.
Yeah.
Just say, man, I got something coming through. Do not disturb.
Do you have to, in the dating world, because now, I mean, I'm 4 years outside. Like Bumble didn't exist. That's how I'm old now, which is weird because I totally remember how other guys say, when I was sure, they do that. Like when I was single, I was blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I totally get it now because when I was Tinder, I mean, I was on Tinder when it was in New York and it was just college kids.
Yeah, it was when Tinder first started, it was hetero grinder. It was literally, hey, this is a hookup app only.
And now, I mean, you can use it for a lot of chicks use it just to like buy weed when they're traveling. That's what you hear. Where guys can't do that, but like girls can use it because a guy on the other end will be like, oh, she's fucking hot. Maybe it'll turn into something. You know what I mean?
She can be like, well, if you have to go onto an app to find drugs, I'm a street dude. I just go to the barbershop. You know what I mean? Like the first thing you do when you get to a city is go to a barbershop. You holler at whoever gives the best edge ups. You holler at them first. Hey, what's up, man? I'm in town. Whoop whoop. You know where I can get some green. If you don't know, then you talk to the loudest. The loudest dude is the second person, not the first, because he like announces your business. But after you've already talked to the cool dude, he'll tell you, oh, and it's most likely the loud talking extra. Hey, we gonna talk about Jordan versus whoever. He can tell you where to get weed.
He knows.
Always.
See, I go to a salon, so the only thing they give me is some gossip. Just get some vicious gossip.
Well, I mean, you can definitely find some coke.
Oh yeah,
a little X, some barbiturates. Maybe.
I like my stylist to be doing coke when she's messing with my hair. Talking to you, Danielle. She's out there. She's in Atwater. Go find Danielle Badger. She's great. Man. I have a cute hairstylist.
Oh, that's nice. Not good.
See, you don't see what. I remember when I used to go to like the cheap, like Fantastic Sam's or Supercuts. They'd be these cheap haircuts, but you'd be like, my mom would take me there. I'd be like 10 years old, and there was always a busty, just big tittied New England fucking Irish chick. Yeah, man. And she's doing you, and you're just sitting there looking at tits for like 15 minutes.
You remember those? I'm going to get back to what we were talking about with the dating thing, but I just want to. This is the thing I think about a lot. Do you remember those days before like Instagram and shit when hot people didn't know they were hot?
Yeah,
because
like a juicy ass didn't know it was a juicy ass.
There used to be a time when a really hot chick could work at Whataburger, and everybody in town was like, she's attractive. But she didn't have a gauge on how attractive she was because she was only judging by the town.
And usually she was young. Yeah. It'd be like young girls that haven't been plucked to be.
But now there's a chick right now that's like 18 years old who has 300,000 followers online.
Easy.
You can't negotiate with that.
This chick, her name's, what the fuck's her name? Oh, I can't think of it now. She's got millions. She's dating this kind of douchebag, a YouTuber, and she's got millions of followers, and she's like 20, big tits. And she's like, let's look back at photos from when I was young. And she did this thing where she's showing, and she had the tits when she was 15, which is crazy. And they're not fake. She's just like a short chick with huge tits. But it's like, this girl's making $5,000 to $7,000 a day because her following on YouTube's so big. I mean, Instagram doesn't monetize as well as YouTube does, but people, Tasha gets some job offers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're talking like a photo holding a beer can. Yeah. Like where you're like, whoa, they wanted to pay how much for that?
Yeah, just for a quick, like come in, they shoot for a couple of hours. We're going to get you in a couple of different angles.
No, bro, not even that. She takes the photo herself. Bud Light. I can't give you specifics on camera, but you're talking like a solid day rate for her to be like, hey, babe, we got to go pick up a 12-pack of Bud Light and take a photo at the barbecue we're going. So, and I'm all about it. Hey, I'm all about it because I know that she'll turn down that tea leaf shit, the teeth whitening stuff. Yeah. That's like, but she'll do one like she's doing one for to get her teeth straightened. Okay, that's a $1,500. Or I got the Invisalign on my top shelf. That cost me $5,000 back in the day. So now she's going to get her teeth, and then they're not crazy. They're just just business, a little bit of life, whatever. So and it's like that's crazy that you can turn your own people that like you into that.
Unfortunately, no one had the foresight to how much of reach the internet was going to. Because remember, this is really new. The smartphone, where it's like I have the internet in my hand.
A couple of years.
Yeah, because it used to be flip phones. The only reason
even the flip phone, that was the most convenient we ever had it. Flip phone. You could text. but you weren't going to do too much texting. As a bitch, T9ing it. You could do it. You could flirt with some chick, but that's it. Now we're in fantasy football group chats. Meredith, did you see that? I set up a group chat for our stand-up show, and Meredith accidentally hit the video chat button.
Called everybody at once.
So she starts video, and then all I hear is her being like, oh my gosh, what I have. She's like stuck. And I'm like, this is super embarrassing for me, and I'm on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
You ever send a Facebook video not meaning to, and you like phone, and you just I'm willing to break. If I had a hammer, I would have just destroyed my phone and moved.
Stuff happens all the time, but it's that thing where before we had the internet in our hands, we didn't understand its reach.
But wait, what year were you born?
I'm 81.
Okay, I'm 85. So you can definitely understand growing up and probably learning how to get laid before phones. Yeah. Before cell phones.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to have that tool that kids don't have to have now.
Yeah, having a personality.
Yeah, because now you can literally have that online personality and at least figure out if they'll fuck you before you even go on the first date, which is insane. Cool. It's cool and all, but it doesn't beat that fucking walking into a bar. Like my best
just walk
moments
up to
are like,
hey, how are you today? You don't want to talk? Well, okay, I just wanted to let you know I thought you were beautiful. Have a good day. Boom, I'm out the door. No muss, no fuss. It didn't hurt my soul. Like I see,
and that's not you're not objectifying them.
No, I'm just saying what's up. That's what we do. It's like
but you don't. But that's not what they do now. So if a guy knew how to do what you just did, that separates him from the pack.
It does, but it doesn't, because again, it's not. What is this? I'm going to be general. This is a generalization, so please don't call me disparaging in the comments. But how do you negotiate?
There's no comments. Podcasters don't comment. They listen on their run and they don't write in. sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com if you want to comment on this disparaging moment.
Let's get some controversy started. But like, perfect example. A woman who is single but has 400,000 followers.
Right.
How do I negotiate with that amount of ego? Because she's getting instant validation no matter what she does, whether it's high quality or not. It's like, I'm just going to take a picture of my left ear, and out of 400,000, 2,000 people are going to like it because it's there.
Yeah.
And all of us...
It magnifies their self-worth.
Yeah.
And that would happen with anybody with a following. There's dudes, there's comics, there's people that have followings, and you go, bro, your shit still stinks, man. Like it's not to shit on, I mean... the leverage is interesting. If you have a big following online, it must be tough in a relationship to try to tell a chick when she's wrong. I have a hard time in my relationship telling my girlfriend when she's wrong, but I dated her before she had her following, and I'm also like, right, come on, you're at 80,000. Like, what are we talking? I always tell her that, and I'm kidding, obviously, because I lose followers every time I post a photo. The only reason I have followers is when I don't post photos. They're like, oh, see what he has to say, and then I literally could post one today, and I'm going to be down 7 tomorrow. That's just the shit.
I didn't come here to see your face.
Yeah. What is this nonsense?
What are you thinking?
But because there's a bunch of thirsty dudes out there. The problem is,
you've always been thirsty.
Yeah, but you're right to circle back to like a chick not knowing she's hot. I think, and by all means, it's not. You don't want women to feel insecure. Everyone, male or women, has that growing period where they learn their attraction level and what they can get with, and they embrace it. Yeah. And also they find what's really beautiful about them. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of times, we're like, everyone's got their ugly face. Even hot chicks. I mean, not all hot chicks though. Some chicks like come out of the oven like just fucking gorgeous. It might be creepy to say, but
that's what a relationship is. Patrice O'Neill, God rest his soul. He put the theory out there in the fucking early 2000s. You got to be ugly in your relationship. You got to.
Yeah.
Like, if a person is getting validation all the time on Instagram, a couple 100,000 followers, all kinds of likes, thirsty dudes in the DMs, they never want to be ugly because they don't have to be. I have all this validation, but at some point in time with your significant other, you got to be the ugly one. You got to be ugly. And by ugly, I don't mean physically. I mean, like, you got to be wrong. Mm-hmm. You got to be, hey, I'm gonna go grocery shopping because I ate all the food and you're going to come home hungry type shit, not just expecting you to, why didn't you go shopping? You knew we were out of everything. It's like, It's a compromise. Okay, I got to be ugly today and do some extra shit I don't want to do for us.
But that's like, if you know you're the better one in the relationship, you're not going to value the other person. And by better, I mean, You know, like with mine. So Tasha makes a lot more, but like I think she sees value in what I do. Yeah. So like it's not.
But is she holding it over your head? Is she like telling you, well, that's why I make more than you, like that type of thing? Okay, then she's being financially. She's being ugly for you.
A year I was underpaying her my side of the rent, not knowing, and she didn't mention it.
Oh shit! See,
I was like, hey, that's a winner.
And she didn't lord it over you. She was being financially. She was ugly for you because she could have been like, I have this much. Why aren't you making enough? Hey, we in this together.
Yeah.
If I got to be ugly for you for 15 minutes for a couple of months until we can get things working, that's the sacrifice you got to make.
But that's what's tough is the man is supposed to be the breadwinner, and with our industry,
I was raised by a single mother. I don't understand how that makes sense. Like a male has never been the breadwinner in my upbringing, so I will never look at another man's relationship and be like, why? Like I'm never going to look at Stedman and be like, why aren't you a billionaire yet?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Stedman is Oprah's dude. That's all we need to know.
I like that Stedman is your first choice.
Well, no,
that's a good example. That's a good example
because again, Patrice. He said this when I was in my teens. It changed my world perspective.
I wish he was alive.
If you Google Oprah and Stedman, every picture you see, Oprah is with Stedman. Stedman's not with Oprah. Like, she's hugged up on him like, this is my boo. He's not, like, holding her purse type shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that and go, this is the most powerful woman in the world, but in their relationship, that's his woman. And it's like, oh, she's willing to, she's not going to be like, well, I'm the most powerful woman in the world. You should be happy to be seen with me. Like, she's happy to be with her man.
Yeah, that would have, so he must, I mean, we just don't know as much about him. But like, every relationship, you got to stand on your own 2 feet and have something, you know, it's almost like a bargaining chip. It's like, I don't want to have to, it's like, it's not a card you talk about, but like if I'm in a fight, I know if worst case scenario shit doesn't go right, I'll be okay on my own. Mm-hmm. And she'll be okay on her own. And by knowing that, even though it would be messy getting to that point, it helps you be better partners. Like our new SAP, our Sex Actually podcast logo, it's like the giving tree, but it's a guy and a chick as the trunk of the tree. Mm-hmm. It's a little sappy. It's like it's sappy. It's sappy. But it's like I wanted it to be super sort of not obvious, like romance book cover. Mm-hmm. I wanted it, but it's like with two vines grow next to each other, one doesn't smother the other, they both survive. Mm-hmm. And that's what a relationship has to have. When you're shooting for things like we're shooting in entertainment, this and that, it's like a race where 1 second you're ahead, the next they're there. You just have to both believe that it's, even if you got a big paycheck or a new nice gig, the average of you two is like you both chugging along side by side.
Yeah.
That's hard to find in a relationship.
That's why most relationships fail. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sit back and act like you're never supposed to get divorced and your first marriage is supposed to be your only marriage because that's traditional. There's 5 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
There's a good chance the one I met here, that even if I fell in love with them, there's a chance I could fall out of love with them.
Yeah.
There's a chance my wife could die in an accident. Am I never supposed to love again because you know what I'm saying? Like, those are types of questions that don't make sense because traditionally, I'm from the Bible Belt. We always were taught, you find a woman, you marry her, and no matter what, because God says you're supposed to cherish marriage, you suffer through whatever.
That's what's crazy. The idea that you could be like miserable for like 30 or 40 years versus just going your ways.
How many people in our generation, their parents are getting divorced now because all the kids are out of the house and they never really liked each other. Yeah. And now they're discovering, mom can get on Tinder at 46 and get dick.
Yeah, get it, mom.
50-year-olds are getting fucked right now. Like, that's the world. Sex STDs, highest transmission rate, old folks' homes.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the first time those old traditional pieces of shit can just go raw and go crazy. The wife is dead. The husband is dead. They're fucking assisted living. And there's viable options. They're getting it in.
Dude, what if there's... Statistically, there has to be an old person listening to this right now that's fucking in a old person home.
Oh, man.
There has to be.
Those communities are crazy.
Yeah. They just wheel into each other. Yeah.
There's like 20,000 people shoved into a artificial city.
That's how I'd want to go if I had to. Is like you want a big enough retirement community that you don't just have one chick. But I think you could fuck around.
Who cares? You're all dying.
You get food sent to you. It's all like Jell-O and shit.
Yeah, it's like I get it. You want to have those cherished moments together with the one you love. But if you're alone, why are you looking for those cherished moments? You've passed your prime.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for love at 70. I'm just like, man, my dick still works. Now, if you do use dick spray or Viagra or cock rings, they're all at your disposal. They don't have an age range.
That'd be great. Spray on Viagra.
Yeah, this cock ring doesn't work over 70 years old. Sorry, fellas.
You got to stretch it above his saggy balls. So I was raised by a single mom too. Mom remarried at 11 or 12 when I was 11 or 12. So I did have like a stepdad, but also they don't even know how to hug right. Like my stepdad, he's a great guy. When he hugs, he like pats me. And it's so funny.
It's the no gay pat.
The
pause pat.
The pause pat. They're like, all right, we're not gay, right?
Yeah.
But that's crazy that generation they like stiff hugs and the patting. And our generation's like, I don't know. I mean, we get a lot of shit on, but I think we've done a decent job of coping with the bullshit that we got from them.
Yeah, and also because of I was raised not to be disparaging to women. All of the quote unquote sexual innuendo and sexist things I would say to women in public, I just say to men because it's more fun. Because I'm gonna say it anyway. Yeah. So I just call dudes toots.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, what's up, toots? And it's just like, oh, I don't have to worry about it because I'm only gonna refer to men that way, and I get to let that.
That's how you win a fight when you're like, all right, sweet cheeks. Like,
well, I call dudes sweetie, boo. Like, I don't care. I don't have sex with guys, so I can
here's
call you
the
what
thing.
I want.
Yeah, it's interesting where we're at because I think I'm on, and who knows, but I think I'm on the right side of the Me Too stuff, which is, again, just tell you that I think I'm on the right side. But like, I'm not, an apologist.
To say that.
I'm not an apologist. Yeah. I've definitely grabbed some pussy.
Oh, hey now. Hey, Mr. President.
I'm not saying like, I'm saying like if you're dancing with a chick at the club and you're behind her, you might grind up on her. I mean, I've literally fingered chicks outside, on the city street.
Hey,
and I'm not saying.
I mean, I still do, but that's not. That's neither here nor there.
The thing is knowing is like the thing is, and women say you need consent. Yes, yes, but the thing is there's still, I think, a way to find consent where you're not misunderstood. And don't get me wrong, my buddy got thrown out of a club. We never found out what happened, but we think he was like grabbing some waitresses, whatever.
Yeah, it's also who you do it to, because it's like you a random stranger on the dance floor. You can try something. She says no, keep it pushing. But if like it's the waitress at the club, that's a bigger deal.
Because if you're dancing with a girl, whatever, I feel so old, but when you're dancing at the clubs, you might like try to grab a side boob or whatever, and she might just and she slaps your hand, and you go, oh, okay. And that's fine, because I don't think in that moment she's like super fearful. And I know this is interesting. It's interesting to like break this down, because whenever you're going to take a hard line, like yes means yes and no means no, even if it's the thinnest line whatsoever, it's what side of the line you're on. And I always want to be on the side that protects and supports women. But I also know that I've been wrong. I've literally been like, dude, how did I read that wrong?
The reason why we're always going to be wrong is that we're figuring this shit out as we go.
Right.
Me Too didn't, like, all the stuff that's coming out in terms of the propulsion of the Me Too movement to the forefront of the media. All this shit has happened before. Like they go down the list and they say, oh, well, Bill O'Reilly did this and he covered that up. Well, yeah, they covered up Bill Cosby shit years before that. Mm-hmm. How many other celebrities were caught in the tabloids because of their treatment of women? But it was one of those things where it happens. Let's sweep it under the rug, as we always do, because sexual harassment is pretty much slapstick comedy at this point.
I know there's still dudes out there that are like, oh, fuck, I hope this doesn't come out. But I think for the most part, the purge happened. The Matt Lauers, the Billy Bush.
Did it happen? Because it's like all these guys are older, higher-ups who have been getting covered up for years. So it's not really a purge. It's just, this is the most high-profile fuckboy that we have.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And it's like, you go down the line, it's what we do. Like, if in a perfect world on paper, I would never look at another person of the opposite sex with sexual intent unless they comply ahead of time through like a long negotiation process, because that's how it's a hello person of interest. I locked eyes with you, and now I'm going to learn your person. No, I'm going to, damn, she got a fat ass. But if I say it out loud, I'm harassing it. But I'm still thinking it. But that's the line. It's like, did I say it out loud? By saying it out
loud, what she's going to do is have this millisecond where she's deciding if she's going to take that in from you. And sometimes, I mean, I'm sure you've said things to women that you're like, how the fuck did that work?
Well, no. Yeah, you can say stupid stuff. Goofy people. I'm a comedian. I say goofy shit all the time.
I've said shit to women before.
An icebreaker, as they call it in the hitting on women realm, the game realm, whatever we want to fucking do. But in terms of having a personality, sometimes saying something goofy works.
Absolutely.
Like if a chick,
absolutely. I mean, it's
I can
because you're telling the women, I don't necessarily care if you don't like who I am, but I'm goofy, I'm irreverent, I'm whatever, and I'm going to tell you that those pants make you look like a zebra, and you're gonna if you don't have the sense of humor, it's a weird thing off the top of my head, but if you don't have the sense of humor to like go with whatever I'm saying, and by all means, and there's obviously like there's the whole like negging thing where it's like guys making fun of women, and I would say this: if you have to do something calculated, it's probably past the line. But if you're having fun with your guys or your girls, and some chicks wearing some like 9-inch high heels, and you would decide to make fun of her for looking like a baby T-Rex, whatever.
Yeah, looking like a circus prostitute. You're on stilts right now, bitch. Like, but you can say that. But again, if it's taken out of context, I'm a bad, and I can admit, hey, I tried to make a joke and it didn't work. But there's I tried something, I was told no, leave it alone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And she might come back to you later on and be like, sorry, that was an upset. Oh, no. I mean, I've had had girls, with the most genuine intentions, hey, what's going on? And they're just, maybe they're getting done, you know what I mean? I've talked to girls at bars and they start crying and I'm like, oh fuck, this is deeper than me. And you just because you're out there having a good time doesn't mean everyone else is in the same scenario. Yeah. But you can't you got to expect that
hope for the best, man.
Law of attraction, you're going to give off this happy vibe and you're going to find something who wants to be part of that.
You just treat it like the dance floor. Like when I was a kid, the way dudes would dance with girls is like they would literally just walk up behind them like they were stalking, like they were a predator stalking prey. And then you just jump on the booty. And if she doesn't move, then you're dancing with her for however long.
That was the strategy.
But that's not how you're supposed to approach a person.
Yeah, if you approach a person, exactly. If you approach someone from behind, they're instantly in a weaker position, in a fight or flight place where like, who the fuck's touching me? What's going on? And
so it's like,
that's when we're quote unquote hunting. We think that's the right thing to do.
But now that's what I'm saying in terms of like the interactions with people. No matter what it is, don't do it from an unsuspecting way. If I'm going to talk shit about you, I'm going to say, like, if I'm going to talk about your hooker heels or your big titties or your fat ass, I'm going to say it to your face.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, hey man, we all work together, but man, she got a big fat ass. If she don't let me fuck, blah, blah, I'm going to go up and be like, yo, your booty is delicious. And if you don't
Which is way more respectable than, say, if you were to shout it in a way that, like, everyone else turns and looks at her. It's like, if you're just telling a girl, like, oh my gosh, your fucking ass looks so nice in those jeans.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm not interested. Oh, well, I just wanted, hey,
good.
Man,
well, please,
you look good.
You look good. Put that compliment in the pocket of those nice jeans.
My favorite out in all this is that you can always hit them with a Yas Queen or some shit. Like you can be overly flamboyant. You can flame out in your celebration of the rejection, and then it doesn't matter. Well, that's how I get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
You just confuse them afterwards.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, you are sexy as fuck. And I got a boyfriend with it. All right, well, bitch, you are killing it, though. Do that. And then I just go on about my business. Like, all right, well, wash that off and go holler at the next one.
I saw this thing online where I saw this, photo this dude posted. He sent a girl like a Starbucks coffee, and she was in his, like, class or whatever, and, like, his lecture, so a big class. And it said, like, I think you're gorgeous. If you don't have a boyfriend, hit me up. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. And then he got a note or a text message that was like, hey, this is the boyfriend of the chick that you gave the coffee to. she's taken, but we thought it would be good to just send you a text to say, like, thanks for being respectful and this and that. It was like this very polite exchange. It was like, there's a dude that tried to, he made his move, right? It was like, and it's like,
Cyrano de Bergerac shit don't work.
That's a nice $4 or $5 cup of coffee, whatever, is like the blended whatever. But like, yeah, that's a bad idea because, you know, whatever. But he a lot of thought went into that, and he got like pleasantly rejected.
The difference between romance and stalking is just she agrees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, because in that example, this dude just said, hey, I'm going to send you a coffee anonymously and give you my number. That's cool. But had he done what romantically we think he should have done, or in my mind anyway, he would have found out what her favorite coffee was. Because he followed her to, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit.
And probably
trying to be romantic. Hey,
yeah.
I got you your favorite coffee because I asked the barista. Well, if she says no, you're just a creep.
Yeah. Any rom-com, if you score it in the other direction, turns into a horror thriller.
Oh, yeah, that's
every rom-com.
Like, that's why romance and horror are the same thing.
But the thing is, it's the man's duty to know if she's rejecting what he's putting out or if she's into it.
No, you can't say that. Because if there's no game being played. Remember, the game is dead.
Right, but you have to know.
So if she's not interested immediately, anything you do after that makes you a negative influence in terms of the interaction between men and women. Like, if I ask a woman for her number and she tells me no, I'm not going to ask for your number again. Like, I'm not going to be like, well, maybe you try it again in 6 months. No, man, we good. There's billions of women on the planet. I ain't got to sweat one.
Right.
Hey, man, you want to go out grab a drink? Nah, I'm good. All right, cool. Well, I'll holler at you in the streets.
But the problem is a lot of men, I think, don't pick up. Maybe they're too in their head with like how they're going to approach a girl or this or that, and they don't pick up on what a girl's saying with her body. Like a lot of times, or even before they even meet. Like I can't tell you how many. It took me years to realize when a girl's making eye contact with me at a bar that I should go up and say hi. You know what I mean? And that's like my fear of like, oh, boy, she's looking at everybody, bro. She's looking at me right now. I gotta walk up to that girl I've literally
now. Locked eyes with you.
You know what I mean?
Right now.
But that's something I've had to learn. I didn't get the dad talk. That was like my stepdad was great, but like there was no like, hey, look, if a chick is looking at you, make sure she's not cross-eyed or something. She's probably interested in whatever. And like the second time, whatever. I mean, I don't have any set rules to it, but there comes a point where you're like, fuck, I better go find some stupid shit to say to this girl. And that's like, as a comic, we have to do that on stage. We got to find some stupid shit to say, some funny stuff when things aren't going, you know, when something happens in the room. But that's what you have to learn, I think, in the dating world, is just like, it doesn't matter what you say. That's why you could literally talk about anything. If they're giving you the invite to talk to them, go the fuck up there and talk to them. Yeah. And with we're all focused on like what not to do. People aren't realizing that there is a sort of a non-verbal dance here that we are so programmed with that other animals are great at. You know what I mean? That they're like, oh, they literally can just sniff each other's asses. They know what's going on. But we're so in our head with like,
I usually know what's going on when I sniff a woman's ass as well.
Yeah. So. Eat that booty? Did you eat the booty?
You got to. It's there.
Man. I'm afraid of butts.
What?
I know.
Do you like bite butt cheeks? I love biting butt cheeks. That's one of my favorite things.
I'll bite a butt cheek.
Yeah. So just that's how you start, and then next time kiss her a little.
But even like,
give a little.
I've even had a week, like when your girl goes to kiss your cheek and you turn your head so she kisses your face, and then you do that with her butthole. I don't know. I mean, I'm not freaky. Not that that's freaky, but I do see how when people say like the older they get, the more they experiment, because you do like.
See that's the thing I'll never do. I'm not going to experiment in my old age because I've already figured out what I enjoy. You know, I just do that.
What kind of girl do you go after?
Beauty.
Or woman?
I like beauty. I'm superficial as fuck.
Yeah.
So I just if I find someone visually attractive, then that's all I need.
But give me like a celebrity. What type would you have? You know what I mean? Like could you be like a Margot Robbie who's like thin, or do you like a curvy?
I mean, I'm a skinny dude, and I have nothing against skinny women. Some skinny women have been very good to me throughout my life, but I like a thicker.
That's very cordial. Woman. Skinny women have been very good to me.
I mean, I've done well. Yeah. But no, I like, even if a woman is skinny, if she's like put together well. You know what I'm saying? Like if and even if she's like it has no butt, but a good shape, I'm good with that.
Well, it's good to admit that you're into, you know, like we.
Oh yeah, I date all sizes except for I can't get my dick won't get hard. Like if I look at a woman and she's whatever and my
penis does the picking.
Yeah,
we had Griff Pippin on, and he was like, look, I'm sorry, I like beautiful women. I love models. And Tasha was kind of like afterwards, she was like, I feel like that was like, I was like, babe, I'm dating you initially because I couldn't take my eyes off of you. I was literally enamored. The rest has to fit in.
Young lady.
Yeah, she's not a piece of shit person. Like I wouldn't let this shit fly. You get tired. You can get tired of somebody if that's all it is. So there obviously has to be more than that.
I don't get into relationships for beauty. I'm attracted for beauty. I get into relationships because I like you as a person. And that's a process most people don't want to go through.
Is it hard to find, I mean, in LA it must be tough, but is it hard to find someone who's willing to like go on that journey with you, being in the kind of dogfight part of our careers? I mean, I mean this in a good way. Like you're so far past the finding you're funny on stage, you're a killer, but you're also in that stage where you're like, you will be validated in big ways by the quote unquote industry and this and that. But right now, all you have is like that muscle you've built on stage.
Yeah.
Do women, you know, do they
all the time? I got rejected. This was the worst rejection in my adult life. I met a woman before the show. She was gorgeous. I was like, oh, okay, you hang out for the show? Very cool. You like comedy? That's what's up. I was like, what are you, an actress or model? You know, being an idiot. I was just trying to have a segue into what do you do for a living. She's like, no, I'm a computer programmer. So she's super gorgeous and a computer programmer. I go up on stage and do stand-up, and I'm like, hey, let me walk you to your car after, you know what I'm saying, when you leave, blah, blah, blah. As we're walking, she goes, so how long you been doing stand-up? I was like, I've been here doing it for like 10 years now, you know, had a great set. And she goes, I didn't think you were that funny. Are you going to do this as a career, or do you just do this for fun?
Jeez.
All right, well, now let's hang out sometime. No, I'm never going to hit you up.
Yeah, well, but that's also like probably the autistic computer programmer mentality of like, how are you going to make money doing this?
Well, yeah,
but should I just not make a room laugh? Do you not see value in that?
But most women in my age bracket aren't looking for, hey, I'm going to support. Like, if they're trying to get their career off the ground, they're going to focus on that, which is fine.
Right.
But I don't work. I'm not a waiter. I'm not a bartender. I'm not bringing home X amount of cash and living a Hollywood lifestyle partying. I do mostly stand up and acting. That's all I do. Like, I'm on stage pretty much every night of the week.
Right.
No woman wants a dude if she's got some semblance of a regular life, I don't get home until 3 to 4 a.m. every night.
Right.
I sleep in the morning because I'm exhausted. I'll wake up, eat breakfast, maybe won't wash the dishes. I'll go work, come home, do shit later. Like, I live a free-flowing lifestyle. That's not husband material.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's hard to find someone who fits. You got to date like a bartender or something.
Well, no, even then, it's like whatever. Like if a woman's only out here to be a bartender, then she is complete after work. I have to go to work, make money, and then also go do stand up or go on the road or go do this one night or somewhere. So my life isn't. I went to go bartend. I did my shift. It was a 12-hour shift. I'm exhausted, but now I have the other 12 hours in the day to live my life. I'm like, I got 3 to 4 hours daily where I am free. Maybe. And that's most likely I'm in the bed or taking a shit.
So you're, we're both. You're one after the other. You're at the stage where, and I mean, I feel like I'm there too. Like, I feel like everything's the same, except I've already primed my relationship up to the point where, and it still requires a lot of watering and things like that. When you talk about being up till 3 or 4 a.m. and being able to sleep in, I'm like, the fuck, man, I cannot. Like, it's just not. But when I was single, I was probably not doing stand-up any harder than I do it now. You know what I mean?
But you were like, when you were single in New York, though, you were partying, you were hanging out late, like you were living, right?
As late as you need to be hanging out till, you both agree to fucking go home together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or even,
man.
I mean, yeah, like, but so it's like, while I enjoyed that, and if I were single again, that, that's what we do. Yeah. We take whatever skill we can get, and that's what we want. That's what we use to be like, hey, am I cool now? Was this good enough for you now? Like, I made a room laugh. Are we going to fuck? And the right women, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Because I'm not one to peddle relationships onto people. I am I can equally appreciate my relationship and be envious of the freedom that you have. You know what I mean?
At the same time, I look at what you have and go, see, I would love to just jump to that with a woman overnight so that my life wouldn't have to alter that much.
I mean, I've been
just plug right in, you know what I mean?
I've been rejected by chicks that, I got rejected. My whole joke about getting ghosted on was about this girl who just, the sex was great. I mean, I took her on.
I love ghosting.
Dude, I took her on proper dates, right? Like I was actually, we got sushi and bottles of wine, things that, I mean, I was in my mid-20s, so I wasn't just throwing money down on girls. Usually I'd find girls I would get drunk with at the bar and then go home together, and it was kind of an understood thing. This was like, all right, I'm going to make effort. And then she never came to a show, and I think she worked in HR at 30 Rockefeller. Like she worked at NBC.
Okay.
And I was even, I had which is not a big deal, but like I was doing background on a SNL sketch. So like I was in the fucking SNL like lot, like on their stage. Should be all excited about that. But in the meantime, I'm being ghosted on by a chick who works, one floor away. And I'm like, trying not to run into her and look like a crazy psycho. And then eventually, I mean, I had to, I messaged her, I wasn't like 15 messages a day, but like, when 72 hours have gone by and you didn't hear the response, while I might not look crazy in the text thread, I've called 15 different people to be like, the fuck am I supposed to do? We had great sex. To me, that was like, the oxytocin, the bond, and like, but sex was great and we looked good in photos together. Why are we doing this? We didn't even get it.
What more do you need, madam?
And she wanted, and then so before, right when she was ghosting on me, I had it was a funny week. I was growing my mustache out for a baseball game, a charity mustache game, as you do. So I was growing my mustache out. She came over to the baseball game and came over after, and she was kind of hesitant. She was like, I shouldn't come over because she lived on the other side of the town. And so she comes over. We order Chinese food. I just start going down on her. I was like,
with the Chinese food, like a man does.
No. So we were just about to hook up, and she was like, she basically was like, we should not have. Oh, that's why I went down on her. She was like, we should kind of like slow it down and not have sex. And we had already had sex, like we had all the channel. We had date before. We didn't have sex right away. We dated this. Everything was going fine. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So clearly there were red flags. So we're about to fuck. She was like, oh, we shouldn't, but she wanted to, obviously. But like, she was torn about what to do. The doorbell rings, the delivery, and I was like, fuck. So like, we had to like, nix it
right in the nick of time.
And then so we didn't get to do that. And then I drove her home and never saw her again until like a month later when I was like, hey, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
And what'd she tell you?
She didn't respond to the first time when I was like, is everything okay? Like, I haven't heard from you. Are you alive? What's going on?
Ask that question.
She's not a social media person, so there's no like trail. I was like, are you just good? Are we all right? And then she blew off a date that we were supposed to have. And bro, I turned down work that day. I was standing in on this movie called Birdman.
You already lost that battle, man.
So I was standing in, and they asked me. It was on the last shoot. It was the last shoot day, and it was on a Saturday. And we never shoot on Saturdays. And they were like, "Will you come in?" And I was like, I got a date. Like, money was good. I didn't whatever. And then she was like, she didn't stand me up. She was like, I'm feeling sick. So she canceled several hours before the date. I texted the casting lady, and I was like, is this still available? And they were like, yeah. And in any other circumstance, they would have just hired somebody else.
Yeah.
But here's what happened. And again, still full mustache. I get to set, and they're like, have you seen Wardrobe? I'm like, I never see Wardrobe. They're like, yeah. And then and then the director huddles us around, and they're like, okay, you guys are going to talk. So they gave us roles.
Nice.
Which, if people don't understand, they gave us roles in a movie that became a Best Picture winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had already memorized the whole script because of the way it was shot. We had to be off book because we rehearsed every day because they shot like as a single shot every day. It was shot like 12 pages at a time. So it was really complicated. So I was like, fuck, man. I almost chose this chick who didn't even want to see me over what became
a Best Picture winner.
I said one word in that movie, but I get a little residual here and there.
That's all you need.
But I was like, and a stupid mustache and this. I shaved it after that. But I was like, wow. I wasn't enough for her. None of this was enough for her.
But it had nothing to do with you. The minute you made your mistake was when you altered what you should have been doing to try to appease what you thought you needed to do to make her happy.
Codependent.
You gotta, like, that's what we talked about earlier. In terms of my focus on career out here, I'm not saying I'm not gonna go on a date with a woman or whatever. But there will never be a time where I should have to turn down work to make her happy.
Right.
That's what the problem was with my ex. She wanted me to not go to shows so we could go to the beach.
Now, but does it become complicated when a lot of what we do for work isn't necessarily you on the show poster? It might be you hanging out at a comedy club. You know, we have that recess side of work where
nobody has to understand the life because nobody, like, it's like a fraternity. The only people that will ever understand your comedy stories like fully are other comedians. You can tell them to people and they can be like, "Oh man, you did crazy," but like there's certain things you can only talk about with other comics because nobody else will fucking get it. You know? So she has to have an understanding. Like, nobody's going to understand why we have to go on, like, why getting 3 minutes at the Improv means something.
Right.
Because 3 minutes is that fucking long.
Right.
And Kevin Hart's doing an hour. But Kevin Hart started by doing 3 minute sets just like every other comic. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody just leaped to an hour performance.
And that's something that, like, that girl, that computer programmer, had no chance of understanding.
They would never understand because in most people's minds, everything we do as comics that's not Comedy Central or a stadium is failure. Like, I will go and try to advertise my Thursday show at the happy hours down on Cahuenga, and I'll say, "Hey guys, if you're going to be in the area, we got a show, free show." Oh, free comedy is
yeah.
If you're out of towners, they're just like, if you're doing a free comedy show, that must mean it's awful because nothing good is free in Iowa or
that's not
Michigan.
a selling point to them necessarily that it's free. You'll just get a free response.
Yeah,
you'll get a free audience.
In anywhere that's not LA, people need to have value to something. Even if you're doing a coffee shop show in Fresno, you can charge $5 a ticket because people want to put a value to it.
And they'll be happy.
It's like, $5 and we get to go out. Like, I know my boy Danny Minch up in Fresno killing it because nobody wants to drive 5 hours to LA, but he can get comics to drive for Fresno and people will pay to see him.
There you go.
But in LA, I can't just do a coffee house show and just go, "You got to give me $10.
Right.
Because there's 7 free coffee house shows and people who have movies.
And Laugh Factory, you get a free guest list there. Like, they're giving away the things. But LA's a unique town in the sense that you can literally see Adam Sandler. Why would you go see my show?
You can see Adam Sandler drop in for free somewhere.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You can go to a Largo show and Larry David shows up. Why the fuck am I going to pay you $12 to go into a bookstore?
Come to the West Side Comedy Theater.
Well, no. Like, but
I know what you mean. But the West Side's far enough away that you're like, oh, there's live stand-up in our neighborhood. We don't have to cross the 405.
You don't have to sit in traffic. Like, and that 20-minute separation without traffic is a different world.
It is. Yeah. And that's a different community. But yeah, you're right. So it's showing people a value, putting value into your art. It's the same thing with women has to understand that what you do is valuable, even if you don't own a giant home yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like everything that Larry David got his $1 billion empire from, he was a stand-up comic. He was just a dude.
He was sitting in the booth laughing with Jerry between sets, and that's how they came up with the character.
Yeah.
They came up with the concept for the show based off Jerry's character. It's like another comic was chopping it up with his friend.
Do you ever see comics and you're like, oh, geez, this person's going to be filthy rich?
Oh, man.
And they just got that marketable thing. You're like, they don't even know.
I see a lot of people who are like, yeah, you just need a Tide commercial. You know what I mean? Like, you just got that. What's her name? What is this chick's name? I cannot remember.
White chick?
Yeah, is it Kelsey Kook?
Oh, Kelsey Cook's huge.
Yeah, she's just cute as a button.
Yeah, she was a guest on this. She just did Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, she just did Fallon, and like you look at her, and whether she's telling jokes or not, you're just like, she could be a substitute teacher.
She's got big boobs. I hate saying that because I'm friends with her boyfriend. But
she is a voluptuous young lady.
I'm going to send her this clip that I just said. It's almost like when you tell someone they have nice boobs to their face, it's not as creepy as when you do it on a podcast. So Kelsey, I know you're listening.
He's looking at a picture of you when he says it, though.
And
just
Kane's
to make
a good guy. Her boyfriend Kane, you're a great guy. You've got good bone structure. They went to the Magic Castle. We did a double date with him.
Oh, nice.
But I'll say this: Kelsey's fucking hilarious.
Like
she's a very well written.
And that's another thing. An added bonus. It's just like not only is she funny, but you can look at her and go, oh, I can, yeah.
And that's what adds up. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can be ugly funny and have a great career, but there's
Sam
something
Kinison did not have endorsement deals. You know what I'm saying? Like
the Doug Stanhopes and guys that they've got nothing other than their following, their stand-up.
Like Doug can sell all kinds of underwear on his podcast because, I'm just announcing the copy. And again, that goes back to the reach of the internet that nobody saw coming except for nerds.
Buys his home in New Mexico with cash.
Oh, he bought that with fucking man show money.
Yeah.
But someone who takes care of themselves and looks good is more marketable in stand-up.
Yeah.
Because you can put them in more stuff and get them more exposure. Radio is dead. So you can't just be a funny dude who's on the radio in different states and you build up your following. That time is past.
Yeah.
Now it's, hey, you got to be an engaging podcaster or vlogger or whatever because nobody's barely listening to terrestrial radio. Let's just be real.
I like to ask this because we can always look back on this in 10 or 20 years or hopefully sooner. What's your ideal projection of what you're going to conquer out there? Like who's done it? What is it? Comedic films? Are you gonna be an action hero?
I want my own TV show. I would love to host some talk show forum type show. It doesn't have to be late night, but I love talking. I love talking to audiences. I love talking to people. I would love to do something in that format. That's why I love podcasting so much because it's literally a talk show without the video.
It's a great simple medium that we have here.
Yeah, it's like I've trained on like teleprompter reading and throwing the cameras, like hosting game shows and shit. I've done all that because I love television. Raised me. I love TV. Yeah. I love sitcoms, all that shit. So I would love to do something like that. And I also when comedy is talked about, I want my name mentioned. Yeah. Like I don't know how. I don't know if it's greatest of all time because that's how do you project to that? I want to be funny as fuck, and I'm going to continue to try.
I always said. Like, I could care less, even though I am kind of shallow when it comes to, like, these contests. I'm like, my name's not on that, this and that. Mm-hmm. There's some of that shit just slaps you in the face. But I don't think I would care much about it would be nice to have a comedy special, but at the same time, I don't think that's the validation I need. I think just the ability to have an audience that'll listen to you regularly, and that's what you have with the podcast. But also, if you can get, and that's why we're trying to, we've kind of rebranded and made things a little bit. I don't know. I studied marketing, yet I'm still really bad at it. I'm really bad at what people want to, because I think what they get with the podcast, a lot of times people are surprised and they go, geez, not what I expected, but I really like it. We get great reviews, so I'm like, I'm clearly not projecting the right image, but I want, you know what I mean? It doesn't take me any extra effort to have my following go up 5,000%. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's just a matter of tapping into the audience that is there. Now, I ask myself, I've done 200, you're like probably number 277 or 276. Okay. And I'm like, would I have been ready for this episode 4? Probably not. Mm-hmm. Am I ready for it now? I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, at least I think I'm closer to the trigger with what I want in my career to be like, let's fucking go. Mm-hmm. Let's get this to the next stage, because I think I'm at a place now where if the following's there, I can go on the road and have shows and bring on some local talent and have, podcast related things.
That's what we're doing over at the Unpops Network. Adam Todd Brown just had an idea of starting a podcast. It got insanely popular. And when he left crack.com, he took the Unpops brand, which he created with him, started his own podcast network. And now when I go do shows in different states, people who listen to the podcast will just show up to shows.
That's amazing.
Come hang out. Like,
so there's different podcasts under the umbrella that he
under
started?
the umbrella of Unpops. He has, I think we have 20 podcasts now.
No shit. So what are you doing over there?
I host a podcast called What in the World. We talk about world politics, world news, because for some odd reason, Americans don't think shit happens overseas unless it's a tragedy.
Yeah, you're probably the only news outlet that they have. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's a trip because there's a lot of shit that happens that nobody ever talks about.
In overseas, people know what's going on in the U.S.
all the time.
It's not a two-way street.
Mostly they're just laughing at us.
Yeah, we're very isolated.
Well, no, we have pushed this image of America being the greatest country on the planet, and we are a first world country compared to third world countries. But we have just as many tragic happenings in this country as any third.
We can't even birth children. And if people listening that might be like, oh, if you don't like it, get on out. It's like, no, bitch. You gotta be critical of your own shit, so you don't live delusionally. Like, yeah, our mortality rate with pregnancies is very bad for what we are. You can't,
because we've made pregnancy profitable.
Tasha had to buy a pill for something she had. It cost over $800, and we ended up getting it online from another country for like $32. And it's like, who the fuck is benefiting? Like, what world is this?
Somebody has to buy their
infrastructure's
yacht,
crippling.
man.
We don't even have a nice fucking bridge that we're like, well, we got this. It's like,
our bridges collapsed. It just happened in Florida. Like,
and that wasn't even one of the old ones.
It was brand new, but
I was like,
but again, it's one of those things where nobody in this country works because they like doing a good job. You work because you know there's money at the end of the table,
which is bad motivation.
But there was a time when people actually enjoyed their work.
Someone would have made this table and like just, hand sanded it. And but now it's like,
somebody was an artisan. Yeah, that's what he does. And now it's like, no, we got a conveyor belt of this shit. We have this table got 4 people paid. It got the guy who assembled it. It got the guy who drove the truck to deliver it. It got the salesman who sold it to you. And it got fucking the guy who originally designed it. Like, those are 4 people who got paid off of this one table. Now the table's a business.
Now you got to build it yourself.
I can't take any shortcuts now because everybody's got to get paid.
Yeah.
This guy hates his life. He's stressed out. He's only working 9 to 5. You're pissed off because the delivery man's late. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody had a good time with this table. Nobody took pride in this shit.
There's nothing more satisfying, though, than knowing you're pursuing your creativity. Everything else falls into place. Like, I no longer have that thing inside of me that's like, well, but what if you did this? Like, I used to have that, and I didn't really know what that was. And, I use the term leap in the net will appear, and there's people that listen that go, I'm getting ready for it. And I can't push you off the ledge. It doesn't count. You got to jump. By jumping on your own, you're telling yourself, like, I'm going to make this shit happen. I'm going to make my blog work or my knitting business or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like, whatever it is, there will be a market for what you have to offer. And we're like one of the only countries that when you ask what we do, we just tell you our job. Other places like, well, I'm a rock climber and I love to do this. And they don't value or work nearly as many hours that,
But I mean, on the flip side, a lot of countries who have that lax look at life, their economies are fucking failing.
Yeah.
Greece is bankrupt because they take 4 naps a day and drink wine with every fucking meal. Like, I get living the good life, but there's a balance. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be like, I'm going to kick my feet up. No, global economics is a thing. Everybody is involved.
Yeah.
I still have to pay my taxes because I want to make sure I'm doing my part to fund whatever bullshit plan the government has for this country. But I still got to be involved.
Yeah.
Because when I need the government, like I abuse government benefits to the fullest. I recommend all of you do. That's why you fucking pay taxes. White people have this weird pride thing where they go, I'll never get food stamps or I'll never get public assistance.
Oh, no, we've done that, yeah.
Yeah, why not? But I meet so many comics who have, I'd rather work and starve than take a handout. You're paying taxes, motherfucker. You're paying for the handout.
If you take the handout and get your shit together, and you know what I mean? And then you can be worth more to the society when you have your shit together. If you took the handout your whole life and didn't contribute anything back, then you have to live with the fact that you just, that you didn't give back. But you will have your time to give back.
Yeah, somehow society has put shame on the standard of living that society has established.
I think that was all like politicized. It was like kind of like, let's look down on these people.
Well, no, it was a ploy. It was a ploy to get people who qualify for the benefit to not use it because any of that money rolls over into further government spending.
Right.
So there's an allotted budget that every state has for a government program. The money that isn't used is either reinvested into that program for future use, or it is now moved to another thing. So the fewer people use it, the more money they have for, we all got brand new Priuses for the transportation department. We out here shine. Well, I'm the supervisor. I need my own expedition when I'm on runs because I need more space and air conditioning. Well, there's extra money in the budget. Let's get some 2018 cars.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all they want to do.
Yeah. My mom was on it when we were young, and she, she was a single mom, full-time sales job, couple babies, and she figured her shit out. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the country, I'm going to break it all down now. Let me break it all down for you guys. It's a great country. The fact that we have free speech and can do what we do. The problem is and I don't know if this is a country's fault, but the problem is there are so many people out there that don't know that they can be anything but the worker bee. They only think that, oh, there's no way I could do that. And the way to get into a new career path or something you love is partly just move to the location where they do whatever it is you want to do. You want to be a songwriter, you should probably be in Nashville. You know what I mean? If you love improv, maybe Chicago is a good place to start. It doesn't mean you can't do it in other places, but it's like Taylor Swift became Taylor Swift in Nashville.
But also, and I'm a strong proponent of this, I talk about it all the time, don't move until you honestly have to.
Yeah.
Because I was an idiot. I moved to L.A. fresh out of grad school. So I had never done stand-up before. I had never had like a real acting job before.
Where'd you go to grad school?
Texas A&M Commerce.
You're from Texas, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I was just one of those kids with stars in his eyes like, hey, man, I feel like I'm super talented. I should move to L.A. and make my dreams come true. Like a fucking idiot.
But with stand-up, though, you have like Texas has a great comedy scene.
They did
if you're in a town where there's no scene and... I mean, at the very least, start your own open mic. But the point is,
your scene.
Yeah,
that's what I tell everybody. If you want to be a stand-up comedian and you live in a rural area, well, guess what? You've cornered the fucking market. Start a show.
And then have both of us on the show.
Your show. If you're doing the show locally with local talent, there's a 90% chance the overall show is gonna suck. Because none of you know what funny is yet. I apologize if you feel insulted, but guess what? You're probably not funny if you feel insulted because it's the truth. You're going to suck when you start stand-up. If you've been doing stand-up in your city for a bunch of years and you haven't monetized your passion, then why the fuck are you doing stand-up?
Well, that's the thing with creativity is the real procrastinating tool is trying to monetize it because it's like, for me, it's like, well, geez. It's almost easier for me to do my side job and collect that paycheck and do stand-up than really pull the trigger and be like, no, I think I deserve to be paid for what I do.
Yeah, but I'm saying running a monthly show should not be a 40-hour-a-week job.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Get a flyer made, book some people, print some shit out at Kinko's. You got to invest $15 in yourself, and now you have a monthly show at the venue with flyers up, hey, comedy night every Thursday. That's all.
And people have to... Everyone, and of course, please don't everyone become stand-up comedians.
Please do. I love watching you fail.
Yeah, they say though, like really, if there's anything else you can do it because it's a grind. But by all means, it's best choice I've ever made. But when it comes to, there's no better time if you're a writer or something. Stop saying you'll do it tomorrow. Just stop saying you'll do whatever it is tomorrow. So much can happen. I just started the mailing list for this podcast, man. I'm 4 years into it. I just started the mailing list. Yeah. I'm not going to shame myself for waiting so long.
You should shame yourself. Definitely.
But I was like, oh, MailChimp, this sounds so hard and annoying. All in all, it took me probably an hour to do it. I hit a couple buttons. So now if you're listening and you want to be the mailing list, write in sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com and I'll upload you to it. I'm still new to figuring out the way. I think there's like a way I can have people like text a number and they automatically become in the mailing list. But either way, that's going to be my new way of getting real with you guys in your inbox because there's nothing, I bitched long enough about social media not having the reach it used to have. And I'm like, I'm done bitching about it. I need to email people when I got shows in Columbus, Ohio, or an awesome podcast. I need to be able to open it and know that I'm talking to you and not worry about whether or not you got it because I didn't put the link in the bio and it tripped the algorithm.
I just flood my social media with anything I find interesting or show flyers because it's like, it's mine.
Yeah.
Anybody who follows me online can't get mad about what I post online. You chose to follow me.
But isn't that crazy? I was talking to somebody, I don't remember who, and they said, yeah, if you post a show flyer, which you have to do, but if you post it to Facebook, they scan that flyer, see that it's not just a selfie, and it doesn't, and they bury it. So that's the whole thing. It's like you still have to do it, but it's like it's fucked up that we just gave the keys to our destiny to like Facebook and Instagram and it's like
Facebook. I don't care about the algorithms. They're just one ends to a mean. You know what I'm saying? Or means to an end. Like I'm not gonna sit back and go if 50 people say they're coming on Facebook, my show's gonna have 50 people. Nah, bruh. I just have a Facebook invite. The word is out there, but I still got to do what I got to do to put it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just go, well, the algorithm's different, and if you got to put the link in the comments. Nah, bruh. Just advertise your shit. It's advertising. They don't do one commercial.
Yeah.
If you make a show and you post it the day you create the event and then the day of the event, and I don't see it any other time, you suck at your job. You know what I mean? It's like it's copy and paste. Like,
the good thing about Westside is they give you a list of like all the websites in LA where people go to find events, which is stuff we would never use. You know, like I know what I need to do. I don't need to go to a website, maybe Comedy Bureau or whatever. Yeah. So like it took me like an hour, but I just went to 10 different, you know. So it's in LA Go or LAist or Yelp, and it's in all these locations. It's like, all right, I've at least given it a chance that you can find out what it is. Which, by the way, some good looking female listeners of this podcast are supposed to be at the stand-up show.
Hello, ladies. Now, well, I mean, you might have had nice to meet you, ladies.
You might have already had sex with one of them by the time this comes out.
I'm hoping so.
In which case, subscribe and review. Yeah, we got a few.
Also, subscribe and review to my sexual prowess.
Yeah. Gee, have you ever looked at your that app Lulu? I don't even know if it exists anymore. It's an app where the chicks would rate the guys.
I never got into any of that crap. I was on Tinder. I was off and on Tinder for like a year. I think I connected with one woman over a 1 year period on Tinder. I mean, I was swiping right on everything.
Really?
Nothing. And then I was on Bumble for a while. I got ghosted by a girl who was still connected to me on Bumble.
Did you reach out to her?
Yeah.
And she responded no?
Nothing. But it was active. Like, because you can see last login, so I know she saw the messages and shit. I was just like, all right, bro, I'm done with it.
I think when you learn how to talk to people in real life, you just realize it's more productive. Because, I mean, we've all seen somebody's photo, and we're like, fuck yeah, it's going to be dope. And then you get there, and you're like, oh, that's not what I liked, or she laughs weird, or whatever. Like, whatever superficial thing you would have normally weeded out, now you didn't, and you're just wasting your time. So, like, if you can just meet people in person, it sounds so old school, but just meet somebody in person.
People get weirded out when you give them give a lot of eye contact to someone next time you talk to them, like a stranger, and just watch how uncomfortable they get.
You know what I noticed?
Stare at a person in the eyes and actually try to have a meaningful conversation, they get very uncomfortable.
I look down. When I do open mics, sometimes I'll catch myself staring down, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing this like weird submissive thing where I don't value you, or you don't value." You know what I mean? It's like this weird, like, I don't want to look a comic in the eyes when I'm doing jokes.
Well, no, like, you know what I mean? At an open mic, you're still figuring it out. Like if you go to an open mic to run a show set, then you know I already know the jokes I'm gonna do. This is the show set. Then you present it.
I can't even do that.
You don't eye fuck them when you're...
No. I'm saying you're good at this. You're good at knowing what jokes you want to do, and you just do them. Mm-hmm. And like the audience will get on board at one point or another.
Have to.
If they don't get on the first joke,
I'm doing the whole time.
Whereas I'm kind of like, and by all means, I'm not suggesting what I do. Mm-hmm. Where if like they don't get the first, I'll have like 8 jokes within one bit. If they don't get the first one, I'm like, all right, moving on. They're not into me now. And I've learned to like sort of auto eject way too soon. Auto eject is an interesting way to put it. But if I sprayed a little of that numbing spray, I would auto eject so fast.
Numb my eyelids. That way I won't blink.
But it's literally like, oh, geez.
Hi guys, you like kids, right? And you talk like that to the audience.
Part of it is like committing to the bit, committing to what you want in a relation, like, with whatever, you're just committing. But now that's where I stand. So on stage, you're saying, that's where I stand. When you meet a girl, this is where I stand. This is where I'm at. It doesn't mean I'm not going to you can't adjust my way of thinking through conversation or whatever, but this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're not folding over for other people, they respect you for that. Mm-hmm. It's this weird thing. Like we talk about people pleasing in stand up. It's always like almost like counterproductive sometimes when you're just trying to please other people. You water down who you are on stage, and I've had to battle that where I don't want to come off like a douchebag, but that's kind of what makes me funny sometimes.
There have been times where I'll go up at like a club, like a big show, and I'm sitting there battling with myself because I'm like, I need to do evil shit. Like I could go in there and do like, hey guys, here's some funny jokes, and you're gonna giggle at my presence, and nobody will give a fuck when I get off stage. Or I could go up there and tell a joke that I've written that's meaningful to me, and I'm like, this may not get a laugh, but they're going to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it may be more of a thinker, but I'm okay with that lack of laughter. Like, it's not going to throw me off because that was the whole plan all along,
That's what I call it when I don't get a laugh. I'm like, oh, they were just thinkers.
Yeah,
they were all
thinking. Yeah. And then I love to tell the audience, that was a thinker. You'll get it later because I'm a hack.
It's like if you bang a girl and she doesn't come, it's a thinker. Yeah, you'll get it tomorrow.
You're going to come tomorrow.
You can come all over the place. You'll be in traffic. And
this dick catches up with you.
That comes on layaway. You'll cash in. Dude, we got to get out of here. Can you believe we've done an hour and 20 minutes?
Hey, man, you are very engaging.
That goes by fast.
Hell yeah.
So I can't even promote the show. You've already watched it. It was a success.
Again, thanks everyone for coming out to the show. You guys fucking rock.
And I apologize for those that couldn't get in because it was sold out. I'm so sorry.
We had to turn people away. We sicked the dogs on them because they were just getting. It was a madhouse.
Okay, how can people find you that like you? What's your Instagram and all that?
You can follow me on all social media at Quincy Johnson II. I made it very simple for myself and others. I am on the Unpops Network every Thursday with What in the World. We have a paid Patreon subscription for paid subscribers. But if you just want to try the show out, there are free episodes available on iTunes, SoundCloud, all the social media, listen-y-loo shit, and also YouTube. Look us up. We out here.
Dude, I wish I had you on sooner because I'd been wanting to forever, but thanks for doing the show, man.
It was a good time, man.
And come back anytime you want. Any updates, anything you want to talk about eating booty, we'll get back at it.
Hey, we'll talk about we can have a full themed sex episode because I have some points of view.
I'm sure you and Tasha could have a good chat too because while she keeps me honest with like not being super, I don't know,
conservative,
manly. Mm-hmm. When I'm just like, sometimes I'll come home from a show or something, and I'm like, I'll be in that like alpha kind of mode. I've just been hanging out with dudes, and she's like, "Whoa, chill the fuck out." I'm in my pajamas, and I'll be like, "Oh, cool." Yeah. But I bet her being from Kentucky and you being from Texas, I bet she agrees with a lot of this traditional ways of dating, where like the man pursues the woman. She agrees. I think a lot of women don't know that's the way it's worked for a long time. I worry about dudes that don't know that like maybe they should still be hitting on women.
You can still be a man, but you don't have to be a predator. You don't have to approach from behind. Just have that same I'm gonna jump on this booty confidence, but while looking them in the eye. If you've got enough swag where you just gonna go jump on a stranger's ass and start grinding, why can't you walk in up to the face?
That's jump in the net will appear. I didn't realize it was about jumping on the booty.
There it is. Jump and the booty will appear.
Jump and the booty will appear.
There it is.
That's the name of the episode. Jump and the booty will appear. Quincy Johnson, thanks so much for doing the show, and everyone. This is Sex Action Podcast. Bye.
Adios.
That's fun. That went by fast. I don't know if that was your weed or what.
Both liked it.
I just got I'm doing the Sycamore tonight. Have you done that yet?
I have not. I heard it's awful.